I met Lucas when he had nothing but anger and dreams. I still remember him saying, "Give me time. I'll give you everything." I believed him. "Ivy, you don't have to do this," Grace told me one night as I slid my card across the table.
He's grown.
He can pay his own bills. "I love him," I said. "Love means staying." Lucas laughed when I told him. "You see? Even Grace worries too much," he said, squeezing my hand. "When I succeed, I'll make it all worth it." I worked extra shifts. I skipped dinners. When rent was due, I said, "I'll handle it," even when my hands shook. Lucas paced the room, muttering about investors who didn't understand him. "They're blind," he snapped. "One day they'll beg." "They will," I said softly. "I believe in you." He kissed my forehead. "That's why I need you, Ivy." Grace pulled me aside later. "He needs success more than he needs you." "You're wrong," I replied. "He just needs time." Weeks passed like that. Promises replaced action. I paid. He dreamed. When I asked about the future, he said, "Soon." It always meant later. One afternoon, his phone rang while we were eating noodles from one bowl. He glanced at the screen and stood up. "Who is it?" I asked. "Just a call," he said, already walking away. I heard his voice change. Yes, I understand," he said. "Of course I'm available." I watched him through the cracked door. His shoulders straightened. His smile sharpened. He came back different. Lighter. "Good news?" I asked. He nodded. "An opportunity." "With who?" He hesitated. "Important people." Grace texted me right then. "Be careful." Lucas checked his reflection on his phone. "I need to step out tonight." "Together?" I asked.
He paused.
"I'll go alone." My chest tightened. "Why?" He smiled, but his eyes slid past me. "It's better this way." That was the first time his smile didn't belong to me. I told myself not to panic. "You trust me, right?" he asked suddenly. "Of course," I said, even though fear crawled up my throat. He grabbed his jacket. "This is for us." I nodded. Grace called me as the door closed. "Ivy, listen to your silence," she said. "He didn't invite you." "He's just busy," I replied. She sighed. Busy people still look back. I stared at the door. Hours passed. I imagined futures he promised. I imagined being chosen. When he returned near midnight, his excitement was sharp and distant. "They loved my ideas," he said. "I'm proud of you," I replied. He smiled again, already texting, already elsewhere. I waited for him to ask about my day. He never did. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, telling myself love required patience. Somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice whispered that I was already being left behind. I closed my eyes and promised tomorrow would be better. I didn't know that call had already changed everything. And that was how loving him slowly taught me how easy it was to disappear. I stayed silent, holding hope like a fragile lie. It felt safer than facing the truth. At least, that's what I told myself. I was wrong. Very wrong. Even then. I just didn't know it yet. Not then. Ever did I saw Lucas across the room before he saw me. He stood taller, smiling wider, wearing confidence I had paid for. I walked toward him, heart lifting, already rehearsing his name on my lips. "Lucas," I said. He turned, paused, then frowned.
"Oh."
"Hi." My steps slowed. "I've been calling you," I said. He glanced behind him. "I've been busy." A woman stepped beside him, her hand sliding into his arm. She looked polished, calm, expensive. "This is Madeline," Lucas said. "She's..." I smiled at her. "I'm Ivy." "I'm his." Lucas cut in fast. "She's just someone I know." The words hit harder than any shout. I laughed, confused. "What?" Madeline looked me up and down, eyes cold, mouth tight. "Nice to meet you," she said, already bored. I stared at Lucas. "Just someone you know?" He shifted. "This isn't the time." My face burned. "We live together." Madeline raised a brow. "Oh." Lucas cleared his throat. "We used to talk. That's all." I felt the room tilt. Lucas, stop. He leaned closer and whispered, don't make this awkward. I'm awkward. My voice shook. You're pretending I don't exist. Madeline checked her phone. I'll be inside, she said. When she left, I grabbed his sleeve. Why are you doing this? He pulled away. You don't fit here. Fit where? I asked. Into my life now, he said. I stepped back. People were watching. I felt small, loud, exposed. Grace called my name from behind me. Ivy. I turned, tears burning. He says I'm nothing. Grace stared at Lucas. Say that again. Lucas sighed. This isn't your business. It was her business when she paid your rent, Grace snapped. Madeline returned then. Is there a problem? Lucas smiled instantly. No. I looked at her. He loved me. She tilted her head. Past tense. That hurt most. Grace grabbed my hand. We're leaving. I didn't argue. I couldn't. My legs felt hollow. Outside, Grace said, he chose power. He chose silence, I replied. Later that night, I sat on the edge of my bed, replaying every second. His voice, her smile, the way he looked through me. I typed a message, erased it, typed again. My phone buzzed first. Lucas, we should stop talking. That was it. No explanation. No apology. Just a sentence. I stared at the screen until it went dark. Something inside me cracked, quietly. I met Lucas in the apartment we once called ours. He didn't offer me a seat. You wanted to talk, he said. I needed to, I replied. You embarrass me. He crossed his arms. You embarrassed yourself. My chest tightened. You called me nothing. I said you were someone I knew, he corrected. That's worse, I said. He sighed. You're being emotional. I loved you, I said. You loved the idea of me, he replied. I grew. You stayed the same. That's a lie, I said. I supported you. You survived, he said. That's not ambition. The word cut deep. I paid for your dreams. And I outgrew them, he said calmly. I laughed once broken. So, I'm too small now. You're comfortable, he said. I need more. More money? I asked. More vision, he replied. More status, I said. He didn't deny it. My voice cracked. Did any of it matter? He looked away. It mattered then. I stepped closer. Choose me. He met my eyes. I already chose. Something inside me collapsed. I hated how tears came anyway. Please, I said, hating the sound of it. Don't erase me. He stiffened. Don't do this. I wiped my face. I stayed when you had nothing. And I'm grateful, he said. Gratitude isn't love, I whispered. No, he agreed. I nodded slowly. Say it clearly. He exhaled. I'm with Madeline now. There it was. Sharp. Final. Because she's rich, I said. Because she understands where I'm going, he replied. And I didn't. You held me back, he said. I stepped away. You let me carry you. And now I'm walking alone, he said. The cruelty stunned me. You sound proud. I am, he said. I grabbed my bag. My hands shook. This will destroy me, I said. That's not my responsibility, he replied. I turned at the door. One day, you'll regret this. He didn't answer. I walked out before he could see me fall. Outside, my breath came fast. I couldn't stop shaking. I sat on the curb and pressed my palms to my face. Panic hit hard and fast. That night, I lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling. My phone stayed silent. Every memory replayed until sleep felt impossible. You weren't enough, my mind whispered. I sat up, heart racing. What if he was right? What if love was just weakness? I hugged my knees and cried until my throat hurt. I will survive this, I said aloud. I didn't believe it yet, but something inside me shifted. It wasn't hope. It was anger that I lost my job on a Tuesday. My manager wouldn't meet my eyes. Budget cuts, he said. It's not personal. It always is, I replied. I packed my desk while coworkers pretended not to see me. By Friday, my landlord said, "I need the rent, Ivy." "I need time," I said. "You already used it," he answered. I sat on the floor of the empty apartment that night and finally said the name I avoided for years. "Dad," I whispered into the phone. Henry Carter was silent for a long moment. "I wondered when you'd call." "I didn't have anyone else," I said. "Come tomorrow," he replied. His office smelled like leather and distance. He looked older. I stayed standing. "You left," I said. "You walked away," he replied. "I was a kid," I snapped. "And I was afraid," he said. I laughed bitterly. "Of me?" "Of what you represented," he said. "I just lost everything," I said. "I need help." He slid a folder across the desk. "You never had nothing." I pushed it back. "I don't want money." "You already have it," he said. I shook my head. "Stop." "You're my daughter," he said, "and the sole beneficiary of the Carter Trust." "That's not funny," I said. "I never joke about this," he replied. I stood. "I came for a place to sleep. And I'm giving you the truth," he said. I sat slowly. "Explain." He exhaled. "Your mother made me promise to hide it." "Hide what?" "Your control," he said. "Control of what?" "A private investment firm," he replied. I laughed, sharp and loud. "You think lies will fix this?" "I think facts will," he said, tapping the folder. I didn't open it. "Why now?" "Because you were broken enough to listen," he said quietly. "That's cruel," I said. "So was letting you struggle," he replied. My hands trembled. "Lucas never knew?" "No one did," he said. I finally opened the folder. My name stared back at me. Signatures. Numbers. Authority lines. "This isn't real," I whispered. "It is," he said. I felt sick. My life was fake. "It was protected," he replied. I stood again. "You watched me suffer." "I watched you survive," he said. I couldn't breathe. "I don't want this." "You already have it," he said again. I walked out holding papers that weighed more than my losses. In my car, I stared at them until my vision blurred. Everything I believed cracked open. I wasn't abandoned. I was hidden. My phone buzzed. Grace's name flashed. I ignored it. I couldn't explain this. I drove back to the apartment I no longer owned and sat on the floor again. "This can't be true," I said aloud. I called my father. "Take it back," I said. "You can't," he replied. "I didn't ask for power," I said. "You were born with it," he said. "I paid bills with coins," I whispered. "And you learned restraint," he replied. I slammed the phone down. My chest hurt. Every memory twisted. Every choice felt staged. I spread the documents out. Charts. Accounts. Voting rights. My signature already printed. "This is a mistake," I told the empty room. No one argued. Fear settled in deep. If this was real, nothing in my past was honest. If it was fake, I was losing my mind. I pressed my palms to the paper until they shook. "I don't know who I am," I said. The pages didn't answer. They just waited. The conference room felt too clean for me. Glass walls. Quiet voices. I kept my hands in my lap so no one would see them shake. A lawyer smiled politely. "Ms. Carter, thank you for coming." "I didn't have a choice," I said. "You always do," another voice replied. I turned. "Who are you?" "Ethan Cole," he said. "I oversee internal operations." He didn't stare. He didn't smile too much. That alone made me trust him more than the others. "I don't belong here," I said. "You do," Ethan replied calmly. A woman slid papers toward me. "These outline your voting rights." "I don't want power," I said. "Power doesn't ask," the lawyer said. I looked at my name printed in bold letters. "This still feels fake." "It won't after you sign," Ethan said. I swallowed. "What happens if I don't?" "Nothing changes," he replied. "Except you stay blind." That stung. "Blind to what?" "To what people took from you," he said gently. I laughed once. "You don't know me." "I know restraint when I see it," he replied. The lawyer cleared his throat. "This firm controls several private funds. Which means?
I asked.
Ethan answered. Decisions pass through you. Decisions about people, I said. Yes, he said. My chest tightened. Including Lucas Reed? No one spoke. That's a yes, I said. Ethan nodded. Indirectly. I stood up. I'm not here to destroy anyone. Good, he said. That makes you dangerous. I stared at him. You're calm about this. I've been waiting, he replied. For what? For you to wake up, he said. The lawyer pushed the pen closer. You can take time. I shook my head. If I walk away, someone else decides for me. That's correct, Ethan said. I sat down again. I lived on nothing. And you learned the cost, he replied. I picked up the pen. My hand trembled. This doesn't make me better. It makes you informed, Ethan said. I signed. The room felt different immediately. Quieter.
Heavier.
Congratulations, the lawyer said. I laughed weakly. That feels wrong. Ethan leaned closer. You don't owe anyone celebration. I don't want my name out there, I said. That's wise, he replied. I want silence, I said. That can be arranged, he said. I looked at the papers again. Numbers that could ruin lives. Including his. My stomach turned. I won't rush anything. Patience is power, Ethan said. I stood. If anyone asks. They won't, he said. I paused at the door. Fear buzzed under my skin, sharp and electric. This scares me, I admitted. It should, he replied. I met his eyes. Promise me something. Name it, he said. I took a breath. Don't tell anyone my name. I learned about Lucas's success from my phone, not from him. Did you see this? Grace asked, breathless. He's everywhere. I didn't answer. I was already scrolling. Headlines. Photos. Smiles I used to know. New tech company secures major backing. I read aloud. Grace scoffed. He secured it on your back. He looks happy, I said. That's called winning, she replied. I closed the app. He always wanted this. Not like this, Grace said. Another alert buzzed. Engagement rumors. Madeline's name everywhere. I felt the familiar ache, then something strange, distance. I thought this would hurt more, I admitted. Grace went quiet. That scares me. It clears me, I said. At the office, Ethan handed me a tablet. Your decisions are echoing, he said. I didn't make noise, I replied. Power doesn't, he said. Oliver Grant joined the call. You're careful, he said. I'm cautious, I corrected. That's why I noticed you, he said. I swallowed. Lucas Reed's company is expanding fast. Oliver hummed. Fast growth cracks easily. Ethan glanced at me. Especially when the foundation is borrowed. I felt my pulse quicken. I didn't touch anything. You don't need to, Oliver said. Grace texted me later. He bought a penthouse. I stared at the message. He hates heights, I whispered. Ethan looked up. Some people climb anyway. News clips played in waiting rooms. Lucas thanking investors. Madeline smiling beside him. He looks invincible, Grace said on the phone. He looks loud, I replied.
She paused.
You're different. I learned silence, I said. Another meeting. Another signature deferred. Ethan nodded once. You're slowing the current, he said. I'm letting it move, I replied. He smiled slightly. That's smarter. Oliver spoke again. He's over-leveraged, so he's fragile, I said. Very, Oliver replied. I leaned back. My chest didn't hurt the way it used to. It felt steady. Grace whispered later. Do you still love him? I loved who I thought he was, I said. And now? I see who he is, I replied. A magazine cover showed his face. Bold letters. Future leader. I laughed softly. Ethan heard me. Something funny, he asked.
He doesn't know, I said.
Know what? That he's standing on glass, I replied. Ethan didn't ask more. He understood restraint. Days passed. Stock climbed. Praise grew louder. I stayed invisible. Grace asked, Are you going to stop him? I shook my head. I don't need to. Why not? Gravity works alone, I said. Ethan handed me another report.
One thread, he said.
I read it, then closed the file. Not yet. He nodded. Karma moves best when unpushed. I watched Lucas rise higher than ever. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid of the fall. I heard Madeline's doubt before I saw the damage. Lucas, you promised transparency, she said over speaker. I'm handling it, he snapped. Handling what? She pressed. I muted the call on my end and leaned back. Ethan watched me closely. She's asking questions, Ethan said. She should, I replied. Grace texted me seconds later. Sophia talked. I replied once. Let her. Sophia's voice echoed in my memory from earlier. I didn't mean to say anything, she had laughed. I thought everyone knew about the cash flow gaps. Everyone doesn't, I'd replied calmly. Now they would. Daniel called Lucas that afternoon. I listened quietly. You moved funds without telling me, Daniel said. I made an executive decision, Lucas replied. You made a reckless one, Daniel shot back. You're overreacting, Lucas said. I'm protecting myself, Daniel replied. The line went dead. Ethan looked at me. That was the thread. I barely touched it, I said. Threads unravel, he replied. Later, Oliver joined the call. Investors are pausing, he said. Pausing isn't pulling out, I replied. It's worse, he said. It's doubt. Grace called me that night. He's furious, she whispered. About what? I asked. About everything, she said. Lucas's voice cracked through another leaked clip. Do you trust me or not? Silence followed. I closed the video. My hands were steady. Ethan spoke softly. You're not reacting. I'm listening, I replied. Lucas called Grace by mistake. I heard his panic through her speaker. They're questioning me, he said. Why? Grace asked. Because people are jealous, he snapped. Or, because you're sloppy, she replied. He hung up. Madeline confronted him publicly 2 days later. You said the numbers were clean, she said. They are, he insisted. Then why won't you show me? She asked. That's private, he replied. So am I, she said coldly. I watched the footage without blinking. Ethan exhaled. Arrogance accelerates collapse. I remember, I said. Another deal stalled. Another meeting delayed. Lucas started talking faster, louder, harsher. Everyone's against me, he shouted in a bored clip. No, Daniel said calmly. We're cautious. You're weak, Lucas replied. Daniel stood. I'm out. The room froze. Grace whispered into the phone. Did you plan this? No, I said. But you knew, she said. I trusted gravity, I replied. Ethan slid a report toward me. If you pull now. I won't, I interrupted. He nodded. Silence is pressure. Lucas went on air the next morning, smiling too wide. We're stronger than ever, he said. His hands shook. Madeline didn't stand beside him. I turned off the screen. Do you feel anything? Ethan asked. Clarity, I said. The first crack had formed. I didn't widen it. I didn't need to. My phone buzzed, startling me in the quiet apartment. Lucas Reed. I froze. Hello, I said finally. Ivy, his voice was softer than I remembered. Tentative. Almost apologetic. I didn't expect to hear from you, I replied. I need your advice, he said. I blinked. My advice? After everything? Yes, he said. Please. Just this once. I laughed quietly. You always ask me when it suits you. I know, he said. I'm sorry. For what? I asked. My voice was calm, almost detached. For ignoring you, for leaving, he said. I made mistakes. You left me, I said softly. Do you hear yourself? I do, he whispered. And I regret it. But I need your help. You're the only one who can guide me now. I felt a pulse of satisfaction. He didn't realize who I had become. You want my help? I said. After all these years? Yes, he said. Please. I can meet you, I replied slowly. But on my terms. What terms? He asked quickly. I decide the place, the time, and the conditions, I said. There was a pause. I'll agree, he said. Grace called me immediately after I hung up. Ivy, don't let him play you again, she warned.
I'm not, I said.
I'm calm now. You always said that, she replied, skeptical. This time it's true, I said. I sat back and exhaled. Years of waiting, of watching, have taught me patience. You're not angry? Grace asked. I am, I admitted. But anger isn't useful. Timing is. I don't trust him, she said. You don't need to, I said. He's about to learn that I don't need him anymore either. Lucas's call played over in my mind again. The soft apology. The fake regret. I allowed myself a smile. I typed a quick note. I'll meet you tomorrow. Noon. Downtown cafe. Alone. Grace texted back instantly. Be careful. I will, I replied. I realized that for the first time, I was in control. I hadn't rushed into anything. I hadn't yelled. I hadn't begged. I was calm.
And he didn't know it yet.
I folded my hands and stared out the window, thinking of the cafe, thinking of the conversation to come. Let him come to me, I whispered. Grace's words echoed in my head. Don't waver. I didn't. Not even for a second. I sipped my tea slowly. My phone sat silently on the table. I was ready. The woman Lucas ignored all those years ago had returned. And this time, she was untouchable. I smiled faintly, imagining the moment he realized he had lost control. He had no idea who he was dealing with now. And that thought made my chest feel lighter than it had in years. I waited for tomorrow. And I knew, deep down, nothing would ever be the same again. I stepped into the cafe before him. The table was empty, but my presence felt heavy. Lucas, I said, not rising. He blinked. Ivy. Yes, I said calmly. You called. He smiled awkwardly. I didn't expect this. You never expected me to grow, I said. His lips twitched. You look different. I'm exactly the same, I replied. Only not invisible anymore. He laughed nervously. You thought you'd find the same girl, I said, cutting him off. Madeline arrived, glancing at me with thinly veiled disgust. I didn't know he still saw people like her, she said. Ivy, Lucas said quickly, as if my name gave me less power. You forgot something, I said. I'm the one in charge now. Lucas frowned. In charge of what? Everything you thought you could control, I said, letting the words sink. Madeline smirked. Oh, please. I ignored her. Oliver entered then, scanning the room, calm and composed. He approached me and said clearly, Miss Carter, shall we begin? The cafe went quiet. The staff, the few patrons nearby, even Lucas froze. Miss Carter? Lucas repeated, his voice cracking. Yes, I said. That's me now. Madeline's smile faltered. Lucas looked at her, then back at me. Confusion and panic flickered in his eyes. I don't understand, he stammered. You never did, I said softly. You assumed I was weak. Invisible. Safe to ignore. Lucas shook his head. You're too late, I said. I control your options now. Every deal. Every decision. Madeline stepped back, suddenly quiet. Lucas's jaw tightened. I didn't call you to intimidate you, I said. You did that all on your own. You can't, he muttered. Oh, I can, I said. And I will if I choose to. He glanced at Madeline. She turned away, unease replacing her arrogance. Lucas swallowed hard. How? Oliver spoke, steady and firm. Ms. Carter inherited full control. Your actions in business now respond to her decisions. The weight of the words hit Lucas like ice water. His face drained of color. I thought, he started. You thought you could keep ignoring me and still rise, I said. Lucas's hands trembled on the table. He tried to smile. It faltered. I didn't know. You never asked, I said. Silence stretched. The room felt empty except for the power shift vibrating between us. Lucas blinked rapidly. I should have. You should have recognized me, I said. But you didn't. The realization settled on him. His arrogance cracked. His pride faded. Madeline avoided his eyes. Lucas's mouth opened and closed like he was searching for a life preserver. You, he whispered. You're exactly who I always was, I said. Only now everyone else finally knows it too. Lucas's shoulders sagged slightly. His voice dropped. You have nothing to say. I finished for him. He stared at me, and I saw it, the slow, painful dawning of understanding. He had lost control. And it was all because he never recognized the woman sitting right in front of him. I smiled faintly. The moment was mine. And he knew it. Lucas's office looked bigger than I remembered, but the tension made it feel small. Ivy, he said, voice shaky. This can't be real. I assure you it is, I replied calmly, leaning back in the chair. You control everything, he whispered. Every deal. Every decision. Yes, I said softly. Everything you've built now depends on me. He laughed, but it was hollow. This isn't fair. Fair? I asked. You never thought about fairness when you walked away from me. He ran a hand through his hair. I didn't know. Of course you didn't, I said. You never looked. Lucas stared at the contracts on my desk. His face twisted. I can fix this. I'll call the investors. You can try, I said. But the decisions aren't yours anymore. I paid for this company, he said, voice rising. I built it. You built it with borrowed time and invisible help, I replied evenly. I just held the pieces together long enough to let them crumble. He slammed his hand on the table. Madeline will. She already left, I said quietly. His eyes widened. What? She couldn't stand watching you panic, I said. Nor could Daniel. Lucas's jaw tightened. They abandoned me? They made a choice, I said softly. Just like you did years ago. He sank into his chair. I don't understand. You understand perfectly, I said. You underestimated me. I've lost everything, he said, whispering now. Everything I thought mattered. Not everything, I said. You still have your life. Just not the control you imagined. He buried his face in his hands. I was blind. Blind to what mattered. Blind to you. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Every word I spoke before had been calm. Every action measured. Now silence carried the weight. He lifted his head, eyes red. You won't help me? I already helped you, I said. By existing. By letting the truth be visible. He shook his head, disbelief written across his features. You were always stronger than me. I nodded. Stronger in ways you refused to see. Lucas's phone buzzed repeatedly. Investors were withdrawing. Deals stalled. Numbers crumbled. I don't know how this happened, he whispered. I do, I said softly. You never recognized the value of loyalty. Or patience. Or presence. I waited quietly. You assumed I didn't matter. His hands shook. I can't fix it. You can't, I repeated, calm and certain. And that's enough. He leaned back, defeated, letting the silence stretch. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult him. I simply let the truth exist. His regret filled the room like a storm. My satisfaction was quiet, contained. You're merciless, he said finally. I'm just awake, I replied. And for the first time in years, Lucas Reed understood exactly what he had lost. He had nothing to blame but himself. And I had everything I needed. The office door opened, and I heard him before I saw him. Ivy, his voice shook. I looked up. Lucas Reed, the man who once meant everything, now looked small. Pathetic almost. I need to speak to you, he said. I'm listening. I replied calmly, leaning back in my chair. He stepped closer. I made mistakes. Huge mistakes. I know, I said softly. He sank to his knees. My pulse didn't quicken. My chest didn't ache. I betrayed you, he said. I left you. I humiliated you. I didn't see you. I was blind. Please forgive me. I blinked slowly. Lucas. I was wrong, he begged. All of it. Every word I said. every choice I made.
I'm sorry.
I can't fix the past, but I can try to make you happy now. You can't, I said evenly. His hands trembled as he looked up at me. I know I don't deserve it, but I need you. I need you to know that You lost me, I said softly, long before you lost everything. He froze. His lips quivered. What do you mean? You stopped seeing me, I said. When I stood by you, when I gave everything I had, you didn't notice. You ignored me. That's when I left you in my heart, even if I stayed beside you. His voice broke. I didn't know. You didn't care to know, I said. And now it's too late.
His shoulders sagged.
I can't. No, I said calm. You can't take back years of neglect. You can't erase the pain. You can't undo what I endured while you chased everything else. Tears ran down his face. I was stupid. I was cruel. I see it now. I see you, and it's all I want. You saw me, I said quietly, but you didn't notice me. He looked at me pleadingly. I beg you, Ivy. Let me. No, I said firmly. I forgive you, maybe, but I don't need you anymore. You wanted power, status, everything, and you left me behind. I survived without you. I'm nothing without you, he whispered. You're everything you ever wanted, I said softly. And it means nothing. Not to me. He looked up, hope faltering, desperation rising.
Please.
Just one chance. One moment to prove. You had your chance, I said. You lost me long before you lost everything. I stood, towering over him despite my calm demeanor. He knelt there, broken and pleading, and I felt nothing. Nothing but quiet closure. I turned and walked out. The air outside felt lighter than it had in years. Freedom. I didn't look back. He could stay on his knees if he wanted. I had already risen. I had already won. The morning sunlight spilled across the office floor. I stood by the window, hands folded, watching the city wake. You look different, Grace said quietly, coming up behind me. I feel different, I replied. You let him kneel, and you didn't strike, she said. I let the truth do its work, I said softly. Grace smiled, a real one this time. I thought you'd rage. I tried rage, I said, and it left me empty. Ethan approached, papers in hand. The investors are impressed, he said. You didn't need to push, just decide. I didn't push, I said. I just acted.
He nodded, calm.
Sometimes patience is the loudest power. I let the silence stretch. My chest felt lighter than it had in years. You're happy, Grace said. I am, I replied. Not because of him, not because of revenge, but because I finally own myself. Ethan placed the files on the desk. Your next steps? I choose peace, I said. I choose freedom. I choose clarity. Grace tilted her head. Not revenge. I shook my head. Revenge is a cage. I walked through the fire and kept my mind. Now I keep my heart free. Ethan's lips curved slightly. And that scares those who underestimated you. I'm not here to scare anyone, I said. I'm here to live on my terms. Grace squeezed my arm. Ivy, you did it. You survived him and yourself. I survived everything, I said. And in surviving, I finally know my worth. I moved to the desk, glanced at the contracts I'd signed months ago. Every signature, every decision, every choice had led me here. Ethan waited, silently supportive. Grace smiled at me from the doorway. I exhaled slowly. I don't need him, and I never did. Grace nodded. And you won't need anyone else to define you. I'm done chasing validation, I said. I define myself now. The office felt quiet, but it wasn't empty. It was steady, peaceful. Ivy, Ethan said, you're calm. I've learned to be, I said, calm and strong, free and aware. I'm no longer the girl who begged for love, or the woman who waited for recognition. I am simply me. Grace chuckled softly. You make it look easy. It isn't easy, I admitted. It's deliberate. I walked to the window again, feeling the warmth of sunlight on my face. The past lingered only as a memory, nothing more. "I've earned this," I whispered. "Every step, every fall, every betrayal led me here." Grace smiled wider. "You walked out with your head high." "I did," I said. "And I'll keep it high always." I turned from the window, letting the view fade. The city moved below me, unaware. I smiled quietly. The story ended, but I didn't. I moved forward, strong, calm, free. Justice had come in silence. I had found my own peace. And nothing, not him, not the past, could take it away.